Welcome to this video for cultivating optimism through perspective shift. In this video, we will try to ask you certain questions, and asking those certain questions will help you change your perspective. A lot of times, the way we think, or rather the questions that we think about, that we dwell about, is what causes our agony or is what causes us to feel very hopeless and feel very, very grim. Now, if we change the questions that we are thinking about, if we change the questions that we are constantly trying to answer in our mind, our perspective, our emotions, our thoughts also change. Are you ready to try this experiment? Let's start. Find a pen and a paper. You can pause this video if you feel that it's going to take a bit of time. Once you're ready, we can start. Great. Are you ready now? Answer these questions one by one and preferably try to answer them as I'm asking. So if you feel like you need a little bit of time, you can pause the video after every question until you answer and then restart the video again. Listen to the question, answer, pause the video, and so on. The first question: what is the problem? So try to define this and write it down, because writing really helps to clear up the mind. What is the problem that you are facing? Okay, and try to restrict it to one problem if you're able to. If there are a couple of joint problems, you may want to write a few statements with defining each problem separately. But I would recommend to pick up one problem at a time, because that streamlines our thought process as well. Second question: why does this problem exist? So try to figure out what is the reason of this problem in your mind, in your thoughts. What do you think is the reason that the problem exists? It could be a circumstance, it could be a person, it could be a situation, it could be something that has happened. Whatever is the first thought that comes to your mind about why does the problem exist. Third question: who else is involved in this problem? So other than you, who else is involved in this problem? Which means not essentially as the recipient of the problem or who else has the problem, but the situation where the problem exists, who else is involved in it? What are the other parties in your problem? Name those people, or you could also name the relationships. Fourth point: how does this problem make you feel? So for this, take a moment to become aware of all the emotions that are happening within. Not the emotions you think should be there, or not the socially acceptable emotions, but for this, write down the emotions that are truly there. What are the feelings that you have? So once again, how do you feel about this problem? Point 5. What is the most problematic thing about this problem? So what is the thing that affects you the most if the problem exists? Because see, there are lots of situations around us that exist, and some may affect us, some may don't. So why does this problem kind of really affect you? If you think about that and you point out the most problematic part. So why does this problem affect you? Try to answer that question. And if there are 2 or more reasons why this problem affects you, or why this problem is really problematic, you can make 3-4 pointers. Okay, now we have the problem frame, which is how our mind usually thinks, right? We constantly think of what the problem is, who are the other people responsible for this problem or involved in this problem, what kind of issues we have, how we feel about this whole situation, how either irritated, frustrated, angry, sad, upset we are, or we tend to think about why and how I am completely overwhelmed by this problem, correct? So we are going to pick up and shift our perspective, because when you keep thinking or keep asking ourselves more and more about the problem, that's where the mind goes and that's where our attention stays. So we are going to shift our perspective. Let's answer a couple of questions. Okay, question 1. How do you want the situation to be? Or let's rephrase it in the form of, what is the ideal situation? You can also answer, what do I need to be happy? Right? What is the definition of when I'm going to be happy? Okay. Question 2. What do I need in order to be happy? Or if you've written about the ideal situation, then what do I need in order for this ideal situation to be present? Question 3. What do I already have? So if, say, A is the ideal situation and I am ascertaining what all do I need to achieve this ideal situation or this happy moment or happy time for me, then out of all of this that I need, what all do I have? Some part of it I might already have, correct? So list down, what all do I already have? Next question. What do I additionally need? For this ideal or my happy situation, what do I additionally need? And last question, the 5th question is, what resources do I have which can help me to get what I need to achieve this ideal situation? So in the last part, in the last question, you talked about what all do I have and what all do I need, and to get the part that I need, to find or to develop this part that I need, what are the resources that I have? Now these resources can be internal or external. Internal resources are your skills, your abilities, your capabilities. It may be even your personality type, your traits. And external resources are externally available. It may be your family, your friends, resources like money, house, maybe relationships that you have, or any other resources like the kind of associations you have, or say if you're teaching at a particular place, the kind of setup there is. So all these could be external resources. So what are my internal resources that I have within me, and what are the external resources that I have outside me that I can use to get this part to reach the ideal situation or the happiness? When you're answering these questions, and if you have fast forwarded through, I do understand that it's a little difficult to answer these questions because we never think like this often, right? To the earlier set of questions, we had immediate answers. We knew what the problem is, who is involved, what's happening. How it makes me feel might be a tad bit difficult, but still it's there on the surface. However, when we have to think differently, it's a little bit difficult in the beginning. But you'll see, once you start thinking in this direction, it'll become easier and easier. And when you answer all these questions, now tell me, what do you think about? Are you thinking about the problem, or are you thinking about that ideal or that happy situation that you want? You're thinking about the happy ideal situation, right? This is how we have created optimism. Optimism is nothing but believing that there is that light at the end of the dark tunnel, that we are going to come out of the situation. And the reason why it is important to have optimism is because when we believe in a bright light, when we believe that we are going to move out of this darkness and we will have some hope to achieve what we want to, or we will eventually be happy or get our ideal situation, then we work towards it. So in this activity, when you think, the first question was, what is the ideal situation? So it forces you to think about the best case scenario, the ideal situation, or the happy moment. You have to define it, and the minute you have defined it, it means that your mind has imagined it. And for our mind, once it imagines, it is true. There is a reference point. It has created it. Even if it's an imaginary thing, if it's virtual, it's just in our mind, it exists. And when it exists, we can work towards it. Whenever you get stuck with a problem or a situation where you start feeling hopeless, you start feeling like this is never going to resolve itself, you feel like things are just moving downhill, just quickly answer these 5 questions. It does help to answer the earlier set of 5 questions as well, which is known as the problem frame, because it gets out. It's like a cathartic release. And after we have said that, then here, this next set of questions that you just answered, which is our objective frame, helps us to shift our perspective and think about where is it that we are wanting to go. And hence, create that ideal situation in our mind that we want to chase, or we want to achieve, or we want to create for ourselves. If you need any further help, you can always reach out to us. Thank you.